One day, mom said, just bring curd for us. So me and he went to the mart down there. So many small kids were there. So they came and they congratulated me instead of him. He was just next to me, so he was congratulating me like, congratulations, we are Thomas Cup. And he's standing just right beside me and he's holding the card. He's like,
Actually, I had no idea about the Thomas Cup is that much big because no one had secured a medal up to now.
ये कुछ भी नहीं पता था मुझे, बस ऐसा जब ज़्यादा खेल लिया उसके बाद पता चला ऐसा थॉमस कप टीम इवेंट होता है, तो तब जाके पता चला। फिर मेरे को ट्रायल्स भी देना था, तो मैं ट्रायल्स दिया, मैं सिलेक्ट हुआ फिर थॉमस कप के लिए, सब साथ में।
Even they don't know how big it is. Father used to follow sports. I mean, he knows the value. Like mom always think Commonwealth is more big. She really don't know the value of Thomas Cup. Father later told her it's a very big thing. It's like a cricket World Cup for us. I mean, India's never won a medal, but these guys won gold.
Like earlier, I didn't know about the Thomas Cup so much, but after 2020 BATC medal, we got a BATC medal. So that time I started believing that even we can get a medal in Thomas Cup.
Yes, actually few of them knew now because Government of India also supported and many of the media covered it well. Because I take few examples, few of my far relatives, they didn't knew it. Thomas Cup, this is something. They just know Thomas Cup, अरे वो कौन सा cup है, तुम लोग जीत के आ गए. It's like that way. But even I used to get my kid vaccinated with a doctor here. He told me, अरे आप लोग तो ग्रेट कर दिए, आप लोग इंडिया के लिए तो वर्ल्ड कप जीत के लिए थॉमस कप जीत गए आप लोग। मैं ऐसे आप बैडमिंटन फॉलो होते, अरे नहीं यार पूरे न्यूज़ों में वही छाए हुए हैं, आप लोग ही छाए हुए हैं। देन ही डिडंट न्यू आई वाज देयर इन द टीम। देन एक्चुअली ही आस्क्ड मी, आप गए थे क्या? देन आई सेड यस, वो तो ही गॉट अप एंड गिव मी हग।
Just the fact that this one line to say that India are world champions, I think for me that says it all. There's no explanation required. Badminton otherwise is known as an individual event. Not many people knew the importance or significance of the Thomas Cup. Remember when the Thomas Cup was initiated, it was because, Sir George Thomas, who was the founder of the BWF, the Badminton World Federation, back then known as the International Badminton Federation, he wanted to have a Davis Cup sort of event. And with that, the idea of the Thomas Cup, came into being. So it's that big an event. It has an history behind it. It's just that India never really felt that it had a chance to win the Thomas Cup, so it wasn't talked about as frequently. I remember at my time we would go and play the Thomas Cup or play the Uber Cup in the women's, and we'd just go play and we'd come back. Of course, there were a couple of years in between, 3 years to be precise, where India reached the semi-finals of the Thomas Cup.
My memories, 40 years back, that was the first time I played Thomas Cup for India. And that incident, if I tell it's like a joke, it was, we were to travel to China. China had just come into the world scene at the time. International Badminton Federation and World Badminton Federation merged in 1981. And that was the first year I played Thomas Cup for India also. I was a teenager and we played. We beat Sri Lanka. Then those times the matches were away, home and away matches, and we traveled to Peking. It was not Beijing. At that time it was Peking. So when we were there, it was -8 degrees. So the Indian team, so just prior to that, Prakash won the World Cup. So China, he beat the Chinese #1 player Han Jian in the finals of the Alba World Cup. Prakash beat him in Malaysia finals 15-0, 18-16. So the entire Malaysians were stunned. The Chinese crowd, they were all very, very stunned with that. So China, what they thought was they had similar players like Prakash in India. So they fielded their best team. Han Jian, I remember the #2 was Chen Changqi. He was one of the hardest hitters. Then Luan Jin. They were the 3 best singles players, and then Prakash pulled out at the last minute because of injury. He was living in Denmark, and he could not. So, but anyway, when we landed there, that was a mindset. we all should go for sightseeing, go and see Great Wall of China. So first day no practice, then next day Indian consulate person came, no, they said no, you have to buy Chinese crockery. Then third day we played a little bit and then we went on to the court. And at that time the scoring format was 15 points. And when the lot came, I was to play the second singles. Syed Modi was supposed to play the number one singles. And they made me, in the lot came, I had to play the first singles. So I played Chen Changqi. That was the first match, India-China and first match. And I wanted to play well and I tried. The first rally was very good, but the pace was such that I was never used to that sort of a pace. And I was gasping, I didn't know what to do. And he just thrashed me 15-3, 15-2. Then I came out, I was very disappointed, I couldn't play well because the match got over in maybe less than 15 minutes, I was out. And then Syed Modi was warming up and then he went on to the court, he played Han Jian. Han Jian again, they gave him also thrashing. I think Han Jian was maybe upset with the love game. He gave Syed Modi a love game, So 3 and love was something that was a score. So then Syed Modi came out, then he was teasing me, you didn't give me time to warm up. So he was teasing, I was very miserable. Then next day we had the reverse singles. It's the same story and I lost to Han Jian 2-1 or something and Syed Modi got thrashed by Chen Changqi. Then we had the doubles players played respectably, they at least scored double digit, but all our singles point, Uday Pawar was the third singles. He lost to Luan Jin just 4-4, but all our points added up did not reach 50.
When you're kids, you see Lindan picking up that trophy, I don't know how many ever times. And then you always think, will we ever be able to beat China? You can see the China's bench strength, and then you always wonder when can we even win this Thomas Cup title. So from there to come to a place where we actually got a chance to lift that cup, I think that took probably a good 1 decade of work from everybody out there.
No, it's a really big deal for all of us, and when we got the medal or we were in the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, all these things I got to know, okay, we have played a semi-finals before. That time there was no medal, so I would say we still have a bronze medal, but yeah, for the record it's not there. Coincidence was we were playing Denmark and then back then we played Denmark in semis, so it was kind of similar. And Vimal sir told us that when he was talking to Prakash sir after the semi-finals that you couldn't beat Denmark that time, but we did it this time.
Earlier I remember when Prakash sir was playing, India had qualified for the Thomas Cup and he was the pivot before it. And then once in 1998 there was a Commonwealth Games, we worked together as a unit, and then 2000 we qualified for the first time for the Thomas Cup finals. Back then it was qualification and finals after about 10-12 years. So I think each of those I can remember where the team has come together, and this was one of those very good moments.
Like I used to play for India and I played at least 4 Thomas Cup. I started in 93-94. Then I became a coach. Then as a coach I have been to 2 Thomas Cup. We were like waiting for this moment. We were trying from last so many years. I tried as a player also, but we could not get. Before in badminton, our time, top 10, 20, you can't touch them. Now it is not like there. Now even number 1 can lose any time in this pattern.
When we used to attend these BWF coaching programs, we used to interact with Chinese coaches, and the Indonesians. They always used to say that Indians have good strokes, but didn't have the legs to get to the shuttle. So that was our problem. But now we have the legs as well. So these things have improved in Indian badminton. So I would give a lot of credit to our physios, trainers. So they also need to be given a lot of credit. They worked really hard on young players. When we were playing, Prakash was a number 1 singles player, Syed Modi and myself. We played 1, 2, 3, 4 India in the 80s. So we depended a lot on 2 singles win, and even though we qualified for the year into the top 8 stage, many times we have done that. But doubles was always, it was the second doubles, we have beaten Japan and, such teams, maybe Prakash combining with Uday Pawar or, those sort of scratch combinations, we pulled out. And even in 2000, I remember, when we beat Thailand, it was Gopi playing doubles with somebody else. But when we played these big teams, we couldn't get it over. But, Satvik and Chirag, in my opinion, turn things around, and they're still very young. I feel they have good 5-6 years of good top-class badminton in them, and so I think it will give a big push for doubles players in the country.
It was always the singles players who used to perform well, and we used to always lag behind when it came to doubles. So I think it's quite a shift from the olden days. These days, like to win an event as big as a Thomas Cup, you really need a good doubles players to back up the singles players, and I think that is one of the things. That is one of the major reasons why we could do well in this edition.
For me personally, it started long back. That's how I chose playing doubles. I used to see in the TV that no Indian doubles used to win. Single used to win 1 point, but doubles used to mess up. So that's how I thought India needed some double specialist thing.
And they've done it! Rankireddy and Shetty have withstood the pressure that they were facing. They've overcome that and they've beaten their idols.
Very special what these guys, Satvik and Chirag, have done, and I want them to be put up along as the same lines as what Kapil Dev. We talk about Kapil Dev's century against Zimbabwe in cricket and such things. We still talk about it, and but these guys also, this guy have done that sort of an achievement, is very special.
I think that if I can look over the results and having a little bit of understand of sports is one of the biggest results for Indian sports ever. It is like winning the World Cup in cricket. I would level it the same way because the competition is really hard. As I said, there's only a very few countries that have won it, and it's not because there's only a very few countries that participate. There's a lot of countries that participate.
When you say Davis Cup, it sort of rings a bell. But when you say Thomas Cup, Yoba Cup, it didn't for the longest time. And in fact, even after the Thomas Cup victory happened, we really had to shout out and say, and not say that we are Thomas Cup winners, but rather say we are world champions, because that's what it really was. I think the awareness is more now, there's no question about it, because we've won. But I still feel that, maybe we'll have to win a little more to sort of bring the history of the Thomas Cup home. We've just got the title home, but the understanding of how huge this event is, I think we need to bring that home.